When the Mafia shoves one of its members into the trunk of a car, chances are it's already too late for the victim. They've already been whacked. And some unsuspecting person will eventually discover the decomposing remains. But what if I told you the mob once shoved someone into the trunk of his car alive and then let him out after several hours as a stern warning that it's time to retire? Unbelievable, right? What do you think that person should do? They should probably consider themselves lucky and do exactly as they're told. But a Chicago-based mobster named Jimmy Catuara begged to differ. He was allegedly granted such an opportunity and chose to defy the retirement request. Not surprisingly, his deceased body was found in his car shortly afterward, but in the main cabin, not the trunk. This story, by the way, comes from an interesting book I read about law enforcement in Chicago. According to the book, Jimmy Catuara had fallen out of favor with the bosses because he was holding back from chop shop profits. They snatched him off the street, locked him in the trunk of his Cadillac, and left him there for 12 hours. Then they let him out. After letting him out, they said, "Now we just gave you a message. Why don't you go to Arizona and retire?" Side note, I'm not sure why Arizona was specifically mentioned, but I do know that many mob informants have been known to go there. Even disgraced boss Joe Bonanno decided to live in Arizona after being spared by the mob. Anyways, to reiterate, Catuara wasn't whacked. He was just locked in the trunk of his car and allowed to live out of respect. And the message, according to the police, was, "Hey, if we want you, we'll get you. Now, go away to Arizona." The officer went on to say, "Now, you or I, they'd have told me that, I would have got out of the trunk, drove to the airport, called home and said, 'Send my damn clothes out. I'm leaving before they change their mind.'" Very smart. No point in testing your luck with the mob. But this mobster apparently thought he was too big and continued to do his business as usual to his ultimate detriment. Can anyone verify this story or shed more light on it? I find it to be ludicrous that your life would be spared by some stone-cold gangsters and you would essentially mock them. I will likely do more on this mobster at a later date, as I assume this guy must have had one of the biggest pairs of balls of all time. And, to his credit, I guess, at least he didn't run to the police after that happened. He accepted his fate. There's some twisted beauty in that, I suppose.